Okay, well, this is a little different. I'm not much of a canister vacuum guy. I'm more of an upright guy, I guess you could say. But this is my parents' Rainbow SE. But I'm borrowing this off of them because I like the water capture. Anybody that's familiar with rainbow vacuums knows how they work. They use water to capture the dirt instead of a bag or a cyclone or whatever. So there's no static as far as emptying the unit or anything. The dirt goes directly down into the water, and it's a very powerful vacuum. Have the power nozzle as well. The only problem with this is that my parents had used the electric hose to suck up dog pee. So the hose is a little bit messed up. It's slightly rusted, as you can see, but it still works. I'm gonna have to look for a new hose for it, but it's still working, so that's the main thing. It's got all the original attachments. The dusting brush is, I believe, in my truck somewhere. It was there when I picked it up. It's not there now, so it's somewhere. But I also have for it here the wet attachments, the filter something, I'm not sure what this is for. It's supposed to go in the exhaust for, I believe when we were having this demonstrated, they explained if you're going to be sucking up a lot of sawdust or something like that, that to put this in there to keep it from blowing dust out. Something like that. Yeah. But there's a couple more attachments still at my parents' house. They have the Rainbow Mate, the floor cleaner, carpet cleaner for it. Or not the Rainbow Mate, the Aqua Mate. And this here is the Rainbow Mate, which is a mini power nozzle, which is not very useful. I remember trying to use this on my parents' steps, and all it would do is continuously reset itself. Pretty much, I mean, it's good, but it's not powerful enough, really. It could use either a stronger motor or just a better breaker in it. Really, I think the turbo nozzle that the older Kirby's came with worked better, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we'll set this up, and this carpet's been vacuumed like 4 or 5 times with 4 or 5 different vacuums. Well, maybe 3 or 4 different vacuums. About twice with the Kirby. But we'll set this up and see how she works. Okay, now the first thing with the Rainbow is we've got to... Okay, well, the first thing with the Rainbow is the power nozzle does not like to stand up by itself, so you got to kind of be careful with that. After we have that taken care of, the second thing with the Rainbow is you've got to add water to it. So, we'll open up the canister unit, remove the motor housing. As you can see here, we have the motor. This is the separator, which keeps the water from going in the motor, and this nut is removed, and there we have the separator. Whoops. So that goes on there like that. And this just gets hand tightened, and there's a little, it says remove and clean after each use. And of course when you do that, all the attachments fall off. But then we add about 2 quarts of water to the pan. Now, the older units you had to measure, well, okay. But the older units you had to measure, the newer units had this little peg sticking up in the middle that you fill it to the top of the peg. And we can see here there's a date stamp on here. I don't know if you can read it, but September 27th, 1993. So, this vacuum is officially a vintage vacuum cleaner. Even though it has not been used very much. So we'll fill this with water to the top of the peg. Okay. And we can see in there the water is filled to the peg. And we set the vacuum motor back on top. Latch it down, attach the hose, and get smacked on the head again with the power nozzle handle. Hook up the power, and now we'll be ready to go. Okay, so this vacuum is fairly quiet. Most canisters are. So, here we go. Now, there's no actual carpet height selector on the power nozzle. There is a carpet selector switch, but all that does is opens up a vent for the suction, for a suction control. For high, it allows more suction. For low, or for high, it sucks extra air. There's a set of vents behind this strip right here. And for low, it closes the vents so that there's more suction. There's no actual height adjustment, and this does have a beater bar type brush roll, similar to Hoover's. So let's fire it up and see how she works. Oops, would help if